Hey everybody, it's been a long time since I made a video, but today I'm going to do a video on my sourdough because everybody's been asking me to do a video on it. It's really simple. There's only 3 ingredients. I'm going to add a 4th one, which is going to be an experiment today. But basically a fermented flour. You can see it's called a starter. We'll do another video on that. But you can see it's fermented and actually eats the sugar up, which makes it really healthy for people that have diabetes and stuff like that. A healthier bread, and there's no preservatives. I use distilled water, I use Celtic sea salt, and I use a non-bleached white wheat flour in my starter. And today I'm going to add a little bit of non-alcoholic, see if I can get more of an airy. You can see that the starter is starting to get a lot of air in it. And that's when you know it's ready. It's bubbling and bubbling. That's the fermentation process. So I'm going to get everything set up and we'll start the video again. So we're all set up. Basically, you got a recipe. You have to have a scale because baking is a science, while cooking is an art. Baking is a science. Everything has to be measured out perfectly, and that's the recipe. I'll have that in the comments. But basically, I put on my scale, zero everything out. Now I'm going to weigh everything perfectly to my recipe. And I'll start the video again once that's all set. I just want to say that this starter is from the 1800s from San Francisco. The reason why I like it, it's not as sour as most sourdoughs, so it still gives me the perfect fermentation process, but it's not as sour as others. So it still eats up the sugars and the gluten and makes it healthier. So we'll start back up in a few minutes. I'm going to mix everything up and show you how it looks. So I want to do a quick video on the starter and see how it's floating above the water. So we have... I doubled the recipe, so we have 650 grams of water, 300 grams of starter, 24 grams of salt, and 1,000 grams of flour. So I weighed all the ingredients, got it all together. Now we're gonna mix it up. It's gonna be hopefully nice and sticky. At some point, you're gonna have to reach in with your hands. Oh, I make a mess, but I washed my hands, so make sure I wash my hands. And you're just gonna get in there and be a mixer. Just mix it all up. This is the fun part on a nice rainy day. Get a little bit of exercise in your hands. And it's gonna be a big goopy. Try to get all the sides. Get all that flour in there, but try not to work the dough. Just use your fingers to get it all incorporated, because that's important. So once it's all incorporated, you gotta get it off your hands. It's gonna be nice and sticky. It's a little bit of a workout, but it's worth it. And then you're gonna get this sticky. I usually have a scraper on hand, but I don't. And that's it. That's what it looks like. It's sticky. You want to let that rest for 20 minutes. And we'll be back. I'm gonna scrape my fingers and get the rest of this off. We'll be back in 20 minutes. Just let that rest. We're gonna cover it and let it rest. All right, so the 20 minutes are up. So how I covered it was I covered it with a piece of plastic and then plastic wrap, and then I put a towel over just to weigh the seal down. I did find my scraper, so it's gonna make it easier for me. You can do this by hand, or if you had a machine, you could do it by machine. So we're gonna need this because this dough is really loose right now, and no one likes a loose dough. We're gonna tighten that dough up. So a little adult humor there, but we're gonna tighten this dough up, see how loose it is. So now we're gonna knead it to get all the glutens together, and I'm gonna do it. And this is where the work comes in. So just gonna keep kneading the dough. This is gonna tighten it up. It's really. And if you did this by hand, you would get some water. Just show you the ways. Just get your hands wet and just pull it. Just get that dough. You do this 3 times. Every 30 minutes, 3 times. So there's gonna be an hour and a half. I like this way because I can really, if you want to see, I can really push it and knead it in there. See how it's a lot tighter now? The next time it's gonna get tighter. The next time it's gonna get even tighter, and I'll show you the third rollout once it's all done. So we're gonna cover that again. Wash our hands. Set the timer for 30 minutes. We'll be right back. So this is the third and final knead. So that was the second way. You can see it's already pretty tight. We're gonna do it one more time for the third time. And I apologize, I didn't realize I was scruffy. I should have wore a tank top and fit the part. But anyway, we're gonna go one more time. You can see the consistency. I'm just gonna knead it one more time. This will be the third and final time, and then we're gonna let it sit for 8 to 12 hours. This is where it becomes an actual a living organism, because the bacteria is going to eat all the sugar and grow the yeast, and it's going to rise the dough. And this is the most crucial part. See how nice and tight that is now. And it's quite the forearm workout. But anyway, so now we're going to let that sit between 8 and 12 hours covered. Let it do its job. Gonna ferment, and then I'll start back up again once it's fermented up, because it's a crucial spot. You want to watch this, and this is why the dough takes so long to do, to bake and make, is because it's actually a 1.5 day process. Because now we got 8 to 12 hours for it to ferment. We just burnt 2 hours preparing it with those 3 kneads, and now we're gonna let this wait. But this is the fun part. This is the house smells so good. And you get to watch this thing grow. Name it if you want. It's a living organism. So I'll maybe do some pictures as it's growing, or once we get to the part where it's the stage that we need it to be at. And it's very crucial to get at that stage. Otherwise it gets mealy, and I've learned that from the past. But I look forward to coming back with that in the next video. Welcome back. It's been 6 hours. Mine proofed a little faster because I had added the maple syrup, so the sugar made it ferment faster. What you're looking for at this stage is for the dough to double in size, and you're looking for little air bubbles in there. And you don't want the bubbles to get too big. You want to, when they start rising to the top and you can see them, you want to catch it at that stage. So I've been watching it. I kept just the clear plastic on. And I watched it for 6 hours, and now it's at the right proof. A lot of factors, a few factors that will come into play is temperature and humidity of your house. So I have a fire going, so it's warm, so it proofed really fast. Now we're going to knead it again, and then I'm going to put it in the container, and we're going to go to the retarded proof, which goes in the refrigerator and retards the process, slows it down, and it will still proof inside the refrigerator. And then we'll bake. I'll do a video once I get that done. All right. Back. So I forgot to mention in the beginning that I was doing double the recipe, so I could split my loaves. So I have to split them into twins, because who doesn't like twins? Little information about myself. I'm a twin A, and my brother Joey's twin B, so he's fraternal. So much like these, they're gonna have 2 different lives now. They're gonna go into like I said, the retarded stage of fermentation, and that's the refrigerator is gonna slow down the fermentation process. So I think about 12 hours in the refrigerator. So I bought these nice little bread, I don't know what they're called, but I bought them on Amazon. And I get 2 loaves out of the recipe that I did. Now I'm gonna put this in the refrigerator. And in the morning, it's 8 o'clock now, so hopefully I'll get up at 5:30 or 4:30, check it. And then 5:30, hopefully take it out and put it on the counter and have the final stage of proofing. So the refrigerator goes. Good morning. So now the bread's been in the refrigerator for the slow rise for 12 hours. Today you get the tank top and the scruff because I was doing stretching and yoga. The reason why I like sourdough bread, making sourdough bread, because it takes so long, it teaches patience. This is what it's going to look like after the slow proof. You still want to watch for the bubbles, make sure they don't get too much, and the rise has to be about double, and you're just going to flour the top. You do this fast because I only got 30 seconds left in my video. And I use a razor blade, and you can do any design you want. I just do a simple split down, cover it up. Now it's ready for the oven.